up, though? I'm Brian Onrea. Welcome to my podcast, The Brian Onrea Show, The Brian Onrea Podcast. Thank y'all for checking it out. If this is your first time watching, make sure you tap in, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Follow us on all the, podcast platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to that, make sure you follow the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, leave a comment, let me know how you like it. If you got any questions, put the questions in the comments. I'm Brian Onrea on all social media, the Brian Onrea Podcast on Instagram as well. Tap in with your boy, tap in with me, Let me know how you like the podcast and what you think about it. Good, bad, or indifferent. I accept all comments, you feel what I'm saying? So, hope y'all well, man. This is Easter Sunday or Resurrection Day, as us Christians call it. If you celebrate it, happy Easter. If you don't celebrate it, happy Sunday. God bless you. I rock with you no matter what your faith is, what your religion is, As long as you're a good person, as long as you're trying to do good in the world, I rock with you. You feel me? I rock with you and I got love for you. You know what I'm saying? I want to start off this episode 30, by saying rest in peace to all the victims of the Baltimore Key Bridge Collapse. I saw that, and it's crazy how, in this day and age, everything is caught on camera, man. And whether you want to see it or not, you almost forced to see stuff. If you are paying attention, if you on any kind of social media, if you turn the TV on, you're gonna see stuff. It reminds me of a lot of different tragedies over the years. I'm not gonna mention them, but a lot of different tragic events have occurred over the years, and we've got it on camera, you know what I'm saying? And this is, really, really unfortunate, man. It's got to be just a horrifying thing to just have a bridge collapse on you. I know that I travel over a lot of bridges. I like road trips. I like driving a lot, you know what I'm saying? And, I grew up in Detroit, right across the Detroit River from Windsor, Ontario, and we had the Ambassador Bridge. And they're actually building another bridge now. I drove by it recently and saw they're building the second bridge. But I remember going over that bridge. It was always nerve-wracking, and I would always have had this fear of falling off the bridge or the bridge collapsing, you know what I'm saying? Always. And the past few years, I've been driving over a lot of bridges, driving up back and forth from up north. There's a bridge in there's the Ohio River where Louisville, Kentucky, and Indiana connect, and then when Cincinnati, Ohio, and Kentucky connect, and both of those bridges, I've gone over both of those bridges many, many, many times. You know what I'm saying? Even down to the same river over to Evansville, Indiana. I've traveled, and I always, I wouldn't get nervous all the time, but I'll make jokes about, falling off the bridge. But I don't think I'm gonna joke about that no more, because it's a real fear, And apparently, this big cargo ship had some type of malfunction where it crashed. And it just baffles me how, it was able to come down so fast. I don't know if the bridge wasn't strong enough. I don't know if they need to reconsider how strong these bridges are. Because I would hope that if something crashed into it, there would be a certain time where people have to evacuate the bridge before it collapses, I don't know, man, but I know I forget what the death toll is, but I know there's at least, I think, 4 people still missing, unaccounted for. There were some workers working as well that are missing, and I don't know, man. It's just, they're pulling bodies out the water, Then I saw a lady on Instagram, a doctor, post a video on how to survive if you fall off a bridge, you know what I'm saying? Definitely know how to swim. Definitely I think learning how to swim is important for everybody, all adults, especially if you're around water, I've been on several cruises. I love cruises, man. But wherever you go, man, if you're around water, just know how to swim. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know how to swim, even myself, I can swim a little bit, but I'm gonna take some swim lessons, man. Everybody just need to stay tapped in on how to survive out here, man. And then just pray. If you got faith in a higher power, just trust in your higher power, man. You know what I'm saying? God got us all, And I guess they say when it's your time, it's your time, And if you got a good relationship with the Creator, when it's your time, you'll be ready to go and you'll be at peace with it. Again, God bless all those victims, man, of that collapse. Moving along, man. I talked last week about Club Shay, and people was hitting me up about it because I had threw the question out there: is Club Shay starting to be a culture vulture because he's always like advertising beef? And I highlighted the whole Lil Rel interview where he asked about Cat Williams, and the Steve Stout interview where he asked about the 50 Cent Ja Rule beef and the Dame Dash Jay-Z beef, and how Godfrey and Country Wayne were beefing over like Club Shay segments, not to mention the whole Cat Williams stuff. But then, I saw he interviewed Offset, and I was going to listen to it, but I saw a clip where it's like, again, and they put these clips out on purpose to try to get you to go back and see. And then the clip, he's like, hey, what about your beef with Joe Budden? And it's like, first of all, Joe Budden had some things to say about Cardi B, but it wasn't even that serious with Cardi B and Joe Budden. And then the whole Migos Joe Budden thing on Everyday Struggle years ago, that's like old. So it's like, I don't know, man. I didn't even listen to it, but when I saw they put out a clip where he asked Offset about Joe Budden beef, and it's like, all right, okay, I see what y'all doing, And I hate to say that, man, but I'm not saying I'm gonna stop watching Club Shay, but I'm gonna take a pause on it because even talking about it, because it's like, man, obviously if something important happens on there, I gotta cover it, but yeah, man, like that's not a good look, man. We gotta stop trying to promote beef. And I'm sure the interview was about way more than that question, but it's like, why are we trying to promote that to get like views and stuff, And people just eat it up, you know what I'm saying? They eat it up. So I don't know about that. Speaking of people eating something up, man, Cowboy Carter, Beyonce's country album came out. Got 27 songs on it, real big album. I saw that it's on pace to sell 350,000 plus copies, which is going to be the biggest sales week of any week in 2024. Now we only going into April, but for the first quarter, that's the biggest album that came out. I didn't listen to it yet. I'm not a big country fan, but I heard a few snippets. She got a song on Post Malone. She got Willie Nelson on the album a few times. I guess Willie Nelson is like a radio guy throughout the album, so he's on there a few times. Dolly Parton makes an appearance on there. She covers Dolly Parton's Jolene song on there. She got a song with Miley Cyrus on there. A lot of other artists are on there, man. It seems pretty exciting. I'm not a country fan, but I'm going to force myself to listen. I'll report back to y'all at a later time. But it is exciting to see. The album cover's cool. She's on a horse with the American flag. That's pretty cool. Cowboy Carter, Like I said in the previous podcast, I think it's pretty dope that she's exploring, her country roots, being from Texas, you know what I'm saying? I think that's pretty dope. And it sounds like, from what I heard, it's pretty good so far, and the reviews have been pretty good, you know what I'm saying? And again, like I said before, I'm all for like genres and different groups of people coming together, specifically along racial lines. I'm all for Black and white coming together, Latino and black and white coming together, and Asian and black. I'm all for it, people coming together and sharing cultures and sharing experiences. So I think it's dope. And hopefully the album will bring people together as well. You know what I'm saying? I know it's some backlash over it. You got to ignore the haters, ignore the backlash, and hopefully, there'll be more collaborations, cross cultures, cross genres in the future. You feel what I'm saying? I know hip hop and country do a lot, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of hip hop and country. You had Old Town Road with Lil Nas X and Billy Ray Cyrus. You got a lot of hip hop country, you know what I'm saying? I want to see more of that. I want to see more of people unifying despite differences, you feel me? And despite different backgrounds, you feel me? Speaking of new music, man, I saw Eminem post a picture in a studio with Dr. Dre. It's Eminem, Royce da 5'9", Denon Porter, Alchemist is in there as well. A couple other people are in there as well. And the caption is like, not much to see here, but much to hear. You know what I'm saying? And remember Dr. Dre said on Jimmy Kimmel that Eminem was finishing up his new album and he was bringing it to Dre to listen to. So I'm assuming this is him playing it for Dre and them adding finishing touches on it, on the album. So I think it's dope. I think it's getting us hype about it. You know what I'm saying? It's making me hype about it. I want to hear it. Hopefully, it don't take a long time to come out. You know what I'm saying? What do y'all think, man? Are y'all excited about hearing an Eminem album? Because Eminem got a lot to address, man. A lot of people been talking about Eminem. You know, from the Benzino stuff to, it seems like all types of blogs get views by mentioning Eminem. And like I said before in the previous episode, I'm okay with that if it's in the positive light, because I mention Eminem a lot, you know, in the positive light, and I appreciate the attention and the views, you know what I'm saying? But if you're going to mention him in the negative light just to get views, I think that's kind of whack. And I think he's going to address some of that, you know. And, you know, you got all this stuff about J. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake, who the best. I think Eminem got something to say about that. You know, like, hey, I'm an OG. I'm older than y'all, but I'm still, like, the best. So I think there's a lot for him to talk about, you know what I'm saying, on this album. You know, so I can't wait to hear it, man. I hope it's good. You know, I hope that, like, all the folks around him are, like, giving him honest feedback, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just being like, yeah, that's dope, that's dope. No, like, nah, man, that's not dope. Or nah, don't rap like that in every song, you know what I'm saying? You know, whatever. I'm not going to get into some of my criticisms, but I just hope that Eminem is really, like, bringing out his best on his album. I think he's still one of the best on the planet right now. Not just one of the best ever in the history, but I think he's one of the best right now, alive right now. Hopefully he shows that in the album. You know what I'm saying? Also, I saw, speaking of Jimmy Kimmel, I saw last week that they did a funny skit. It's kind of weird, but, you know, I'm not gonna say what it's about, but it's on Jimmy Kimmel is Eminem, Dre, 50 Cent, and Snoop doing the skit. It's kind of cringy, but it's got kind of funny, I guess. What do y'all think about that Jimmy Kimmel skit, man? I forgot to mention it last time, but I thought it was kind of funny, but kind of cringy at the same time. What y'all think about that skit, man, on Jimmy Kimmel show, man? I also want to talk about last night I watched this movie, man, an older movie. You know, I love to give at least one good movie review on every podcast because I like to watch movies. I love movies that make you think. I saw this movie last night called A Ghost Story. And it's funny because I was looking for something scary to watch. I love horror movies. And A24 makes a lot of good kind of horror movies, but they make a lot of good movies in general. So I watched this movie called A Ghost Story, and it was pretty deep, you know what I'm saying? It was really quirky, though. It was really quirky. It starred Rooney Mara, I forgot how to pronounce her name. Casey Affleck is in the movie as well. They're the two main people in the movie. It's about a man who dies in a car crash, and he comes back to kind of haunt his house to see his wife, and he kind of like gets stuck there. That's all I'll say. And it was, you know, some of the stuff was kind of quirky. Like, they took they sat in some shots for a long time, which was kind of like boring. Like, this one scene where the young lady's eating the pie. She's grieving the death of her husband. She's eating the pie. And it just shows her eating the pie for a very long time, like several minutes. And it's like, I actually fell asleep on that part and woke up, she's still eating the pie. You know what I'm saying? Had to go back and rewatch it. But other than the little quirks, I thought it had a really good meaning and message, man. And me in particular, it really affected me, you know, for things that I go through and I'm going through. It's pretty deep, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty deep, called A Ghost Story. It's not scary. It's more like a drama kind of movie. And it is weird. The guy's walking around with like a Casper the Ghost, a sheet over his head with two eyes. That's weird, but just, you got to get past that and get into the movie. Speaking of A24, man, I saw A Dream Scenario 2 with Nicolas Cage. I saw that too. I don't know if I talked about that or not, but A Dream Scenario movie, I saw that, and that's another movie that's kind of quirky. It's kind of funny, it's kind of scary, but it's also got a deep message behind it as well, man. With Nicolas Cage, it's about a guy who is a professor named, you know, I forgot his name, but Nicolas Cage plays a professor. He keeps appearing in folks' dreams, you know what I'm saying? And at first it's kind of like fascinating, then it kind of turns dark. But it has a good message in it, man. Another quirky movie. And I'm not gonna say much more about that movie either, but it's called A Dream Scenario. And it's crazy. You know, A24 been making some, you know, they made the movie Talk to Me, and a few other movies. They made Hereditary, which is a crazy movie, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, shout out to those movies, A Ghost Story and A Dream Scenario. Now, Ghost Story came out several years ago. A Dream Scenario is a recent movie that came out, I think, last year. Ghost Story came out several years ago. So, yeah, man. That's what I've been checking out. That's what's been going on with me. I don't got a whole lot more updates. I'm not going to just prolong the episode just for the sake of doing it. I do want to tell y'all, man, I love y'all. Every single person that's been hitting me up about the podcast, want more episodes, want more frequency. Thank you. The frequency is going to be coming, trust me. Everybody that's been just saying positive stuff to me in the messages. I love y'all. And I want y'all to just continue to fight for whatever it is y'all got going on, whatever your dream is, whatever your goals is, whatever your goals are, Continue to fight for it. Sometimes life isn't going to be easy. Sometimes you'll get distractions and obstacles that come to take you out. But if you persist, I believe that there's nothing that's impossible for us to accomplish if we persist. You got to tap in with yourself. You got to look within, you got to dig deep, and you got to tap in to that power that's within you. The Creator God made us all, and He gave us all the ability to do whatever He called us to do. So it might seem impossible. It might seem like you got sidetracked. It might seem like your world is coming down, but it's not. Just keep fighting, stay plugged in, and you can accomplish anything. You feel me? And that's been episode 30 of the Brian Onrea podcast. I love y'all. See you next time.